Hey everybody, it's Amanda from the Little Bluebird Gallery, and I'm here in my studio trying to get back to painting a little bit. I've taken a break for a while and I haven't painted anything. Over the holidays I just took a little bit of a breather and I painted a little bit, but not as regularly as I usually do. So I'm thinking about how I can get myself going again, and I was thinking that some of you may feel the same way. I had someone ask me, how do you start a painting? How do you just begin? Where do you begin? Do you start with what your background should look like? Do you begin with the colors for the actual thing that you're going to paint? Or do you have some idea of what you're going to do? Or do you just start throwing some paint on the canvas or on the paper and see what happens? So I thought I would give you guys a little glimpse into what I do to get myself going again. So sometimes, especially if you've taken a break, it's kind of hard to get going again, and it's hard to come up with an idea that you want to try. So what I would suggest you begin with is either just taking colors that you like. When you're looking at your paint supplies that you have, just take some colors that you like and start putting them down on your canvas. Or you could just grab some ideas from something else, like nature, or some photos you may have taken that are on your phone, or just something that's a subject that you really like, that makes you happy. And so I'm going to do something that I know is, number one, easy for me to do, because I want to start getting back into doing this with something that I know that I can do pretty well. I don't want to start out with something that's really hard. So I'm going to do some flowers, and I'm going to choose some colors that I like, and I'm going to turn my camera around over my table so that you can see what I'm doing. So hang on just a second. So what I'm going to do is just start with colors that I like and do something that I know that I can do really without having to think very hard about it. So I'm going to take several different blues. And this is just my sketchbook. It's a mixed media. It's kind of a heavier paper, so I can do some different things on here. Getting all my paints out here. Okay. Let's see. I think I need a smaller brush. And I'm going to use this green to draw off what I'm going to do. So when you are getting started with a painting and you kind of have in mind what you want to do, if you know, for example, I know that I'm going to do some blue hydrangeas, and I'm going to do them in a container. You can go ahead and kind of have an idea of what colors your background's going to be if you know what color your subject's going to be. So, for example, I know that my hydrangeas are going to be blue, and so I would want to choose a color for my background that would complement my hydrangeas. So those of you who may be in my creative community, you should know all about complementary colors, right? Because we've talked about that. Using our color wheel and finding the colors that would complement whatever color you're using. Forgot to bring my little cart over here with my water in it. Okay, so I know we're doing blue hydrangeas, and so my background is going to need to be something that would complement that. So in my creative community, we've done some work with our color wheel, and I've taught everyone that there are certain colors that work well together. So you can take your color wheel and kind of decide that by looking at it. And I want to have somewhat of a neutral background on this. So I'm going to take a little bit of some brown and mix it with some white and get myself just a really neutral background color. Got a little bit of that still on my palette, so that's looking a little bit orangey, which is fine because that's going to work. So I'm going to put this down. And like I said, if you've been out of practice and you haven't been painting for a while, if you take a break, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get back into it. Or if you feel like you don't have time to do it, sometimes it makes it a little bit stressful to try to just relax and do something creative. But once you get going and you've done a few things, then you'll get a momentum built up and you'll keep going. So I know after I do this tonight, it's going to get my creative brain cells going again. And then I'm going to want to do this more often. But earlier today, I was thinking, I don't really know what I want to paint. And it was a little bit stressful just trying to come up with an idea. So I can understand when people say they don't know where to start or they don't know how to begin. So you should just begin with doing something that you know you can do well and pretty easily. Maybe something that you've done before, or you could go over to my website and grab my free lesson on painting cotton. That one's an easy one, just to get you going, get you started, and give you something to try, just to begin with. And then once you've done that, then you'll feel more excited about the creative process, and it'll help with your confidence a little bit, and then you'll get back into it and want to paint more. Okay, now I'm going to start with my knife. This is the fun part, or the most fun part anyway. So like I said, if you're not sure where to begin, if you'll begin with what you want your subject to be. So if I were doing pink flowers, then my background color would need to be something that's going to complement pink. Since these are going to be blue, I chose a color that's going to complement blue. And I think just getting started is probably the hardest part. Once you get started and you gain some ground and you get a little confidence built up, then it's a lot easier for you to be more consistent with just painting in general, and being more creative and giving yourself permission to play with your paints. Now, what did I do with my paper towels? It's been so long since I've done anything in here. Some of my supplies are all scattered. And you guys, I'm using my Soho Urban Artist acrylics, which I really like. So we've got a few different shades of blue that I'm using here. And I'm probably going to mix up some too. I may even add a little bit of purple. And some white. Let's get some greenery in there because we need to have some separation in a few spots. Okay. So you guys know I really like painting with my knife. It's just been a little while since I've been able to do that. And my creative community group, we're going to get started tomorrow with some new tutorials. We're going to do landscapes this month. So those of you who may be interested in my painting group, you can look at the link that's there in the description to my website. My creative community is a painting group, or it's like a membership, which means there's some hidden places on my website that's not available to everyone. But if you are a member, then you get access to all of the tutorials that are there. So you can go there and take a look if you're interested. Or if you have questions, I'll be happy to chat with you about it. But we're going to get started on landscapes tomorrow. This one's pretty abstract, which is fun. Turning this into kind of one big hydrangea. So I'm making 3, where I'd started out, I drew 4, but I'm changing my mind a little bit over here. Leah's asking what was the name of the first blue that I put on, and that was ultramarine blue. It's a really, really pretty blue. All right, now for the really bright spots. Can't decide if I want to add some of that purple in here or not. Let's just try and see what it looks like. Oh, that's pretty. All right, now I gotta decide what color I want my container to be. I think I'm gonna go for some black. And let's put some of that down here. And you can get really creative with your background. You can do all kinds of fun things just playing around. Let's add some of this purple in our container too. And so my background is a really neutral background where our flowers are bright and happy color. We got to get some more greenery going on here. Let's see, maybe even in here. And now I want to change a few things around a little bit. So this is what my process usually ends up being. I start something and I may put something down and then come back and cover it up. And then I may put something else down, come back and cover it. So it's really a trial and error type thing that I have going on here. I want some of this beige to still show through, but I want it mostly to be white. So if you have in mind what kind of subject you want to do when you're starting a painting, look at your colors, look at your color wheel, get some ideas, and then just start. Because if you hesitate and you put it off and you think you don't have time, then you're never gonna begin, and then you're not gonna continue to learn and come up with more ideas. And just getting started is really the hardest part. So now that I've done this, my confidence feels stronger and I'm more excited about painting again. It's been a really long time since I just played with some paint and did something like this. So now that I have done this, that is making me want to do this more, and that's really what happens. There's sort of like a momentum that you get. It's a little bit contagious. Once you start, then you're going to want to keep going, and you're going to want to continue to try new things and play with more and more ideas. And that is how you boost your own creativity, is by allowing yourself to play and not worry so much about the outcome. Because if I started painting this with the idea that this was something that I needed to get perfect because I'm going to sell it, or because I've put some kind of restrictions on myself in some way, that's going to completely take the fun away from being creative in the first place. So allow yourself to play, allow yourself to try things, allow yourself to make mistakes, and just go for it. Just start somewhere. Okay, Leah said the black sure made the colors pop. Thank you. That's another thing that you're just going to have to try and play with, is knowing what colors are going to work well together. You're never going to know unless you just put it down and see what happens, right? There's no way to know if you don't try. Okay. So there's my little creative fun for tonight. I hope that this will encourage you to just try something. Just get out some paper, get out a piece of cardboard if that's all you have, and just try painting something just for the fun of it. Don't try painting something to be perfect, or try to paint something that is going to look super realistic or anything like that that's going to make it stressful. So you guys, I am planning on starting some sort of challenge soon where we'll do just some different things, like playing with paint, not trying to be so perfect with everything that we do, just really a creative challenge that gets you started to help you just begin. So just keep looking for that, and it'll be available to you sometime soon. I haven't really got it all planned out completely yet, but hopefully it will be very soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.